Today's show is brought to you by Organifi, the best tasting green blend on the market. They're cold processed, guys, to retain all of the nutrients. And if you're looking to fill all the nutritional gaps and buffer out that new stress that your body has to deal with on a daily basis, check out Organifi.com. That's Organifi.com and use the promo code SUCCESS to save 20% on your order. And now to today's show.
I wake up every single day. I am who I say I am. And I get what I get because I live in beast mode. Stop being gazelles. You're not average. You're not even good. You were born to be great.
Welcome to another edition of the Secret to Success podcast. I'm your host, CJ, joined as always by the Beijing sensation, Mr. Carl Phillips.
What is going on?
And Dr. FaceTime.
FaceTime.
Shoddy. So what are you doing over there?
I'm teasing Ken. I got the new iPhone, and Ken is saying he will never do face recognition. He will never do it.
The face recognition is pretty scary, though. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. But I thought
But it's
Android
quicker,
been
though.
had that.
Maybe they did, but I ain't been on Android though.
It's quicker than what? Your thumbprint?
Yeah.
Okay, the thumbprint was immediate. So how quick are
faster
we
can you
talking?
be?
As soon as you go.
But the fact that you gotta hold it in front of your face, like.
Well, actually, you don't have to go like this, Ken. It's anywhere it recognizes and just boom. It's like it's not off. Actually,
Did
it's
you
like
have to
it's
set
not
it
off.
up? So you got to
Yeah,
like
when
do
you
it
first
around
do
your
it, you
face
gotta
like your thumb?
What if you sleep though and somebody just come up to you, boom? And,
My eyes got to be open.
you sure?
It's in the eyes, Ken.
You sure about
It's
that?
in the eyes,
No.
Ken.
Try to open it with your eyes closed. See if it works. No, hold on. It's unlocked. What you doing? Okay. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to see, Ken, because this is like some Jason Bourne type stuff.
I think somebody gonna cut your face off.
Yeah. Eve, how was Chicago, man? I mean, I was there with you, but I just.
What? No, L.A.
I'll go back.
Oh yeah.
Talking about LA.
Well, I didn't go to LA. I don't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I was getting text updates. People was like, "Yo, this is the firest one ever. Everybody going off." I text Carl. I was like, "I'm not sure if I feel better or worse." Like
You
I
should feel better. You
You did your job.
Quincy
But
Jones
I-
to a whole other level.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was hurt. I was not there because I was just getting text updates. Everybody
Well,
was
but at
like,
least
"Yo,
it wasn't like you
it's
was
crazy."
sick. You know what I'm saying? Like you weren't negligent. You had to take care of your family. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, I start with
As
LA.
opposed to what? Missing a flight? Negligent. You know what
I'm
I'm
just
saying?
saying, no, that could have happened.
C ain't coming.
C missed one before. It was like something crazy though. What was it?
Avery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sick? Was she just sick?
No,
she
remember
was
she was
confirmed.
supposed. She was a
Right, she
week
came-
late,
yeah, she
so
came a
we
week
thought
late,
she was
that's right.
coming. I didn't want to. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't want to go.
Was that LA
Excuse
too?
my negligence. E.
Was that LA too?
Yeah. No, that was
was that?
Cleveland.
Oh.
I think I missed.
Cleveland?
I missed
Yep, it was
Cleveland.
Cleveland, yep.
It was Chicago or it was
No, it was
Midwest.
Cleveland.
Okay,
I think
it
it was
was-
Cleveland.
Yeah,
Okay, 'cause
yeah,
you didn't
because
meet Hugh
Hugh
Jackson.
came. Yeah, and I
Right,
wasn't
you
there.
didn't meet him, so
yeah,
that's
I
what
didn't.
it
Yeah,
was. That was the
for
start of
sure.
our relationship.
Yeah.
LA though, man, LA is a different energy, you know, but it's just it's some. For me, there are people that I love who are part of the BU family, you know, who are part of the ETA family that we don't get to see as regular because they're all the way over there. So
Yeah.
to go over there and see them, and then, you know, man, just those mountains,
Yeah.
you know, the weather, the swag. I saw Roy. I don't see Roy on the regular basis. LD came through. I don't get to see L. So people that, you know, that I'm very, very close to. And then, man, I went to a school. Shout out Woodrow Wilson High School. I went to a school, and it's crazy, man. That it's crazy to me still seeing you'll appreciate it. I don't know if Carl can because he's from Barbados, but the actual outdoors, see where you like walking from your class outdoors to get to another class. You know what I'm saying? And the lunchroom is outside. I just every time I
Oh,
see
yeah,
that,
I know, right?
I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. Because, you
That's
know,
crazy.
just growing up in Michigan,
Ain't
once you
nothing
go
outside.
inside,
Oh, yeah,
that's
you
it.
inside, bro.
Don't ever
and
come
let's
out
just
again.
be real. In Michigan, from October to really May, it's cold. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't trying to be outside anyway. So LA just has a different vibe to it, man. I really enjoyed it. The music that you know how we do music. Willie Moe did his thing, and he was playing the music, and you know, just that man. I just love Cali, man. I love Cali. So, but of course, Chicago. Chicago was man, just my boy Matt. Had a great time with Matt. Great time with United Shores. I'm pretty much on retainer this year.
This the same company here
that's
in
in
Michigan.
Troy.
Because
Yeah.
I was confused when I saw the
Yeah.
count. I was like, I thought they're in Michigan, but you were in Chicago.
Yeah, you know they went from Troy to now they're in Pontiac, so they built their new facility in Pontiac. And you know Matt, for those who don't know Matt also was a Michigan State guard. He was with back up to Mateen Cleaves when they won the national title. So you know that's that Sparty Connect. Chris Hill was there. Sparty Connect. You know, so Chicago, man. You know, again in this home. So I got a chance. You know, I always get a chance to see grandma. You know, whatever. So yeah, see, Chicago was fire. My wife, I'm not gonna tell her business because she's gonna get angry. She told me that she was private, but we got an opportunity to, man, go get her the furniture she loves, Ken. You know what I'm saying? We had an opportunity.
It's official?
It's official. Yep, we bought it. You know it's official when I call mama.
Oh,
She
yeah.
saw me, I call mama. When I call
Yeah, he
mama,
called his
kid,
mom.
I call my mom.
I was like, okay,
it's
that's
going
what he
down,
did.
Kid. You know, in the multitude
Yeah.
of counsel, there's safety. And my mom has like been buying furniture since I was a shorty like that. Showroom, don't go in the living room. This is a museum. The only thing my mom didn't do, I think her mom might have scared her off. She didn't put plastic on it, Ken, but she might as well because we couldn't go in
couldn't
there.
go in there. You couldn't
so I
sit
called
on that.
mom, bruh. I don't know what mom is on the animal chart, but when it comes to furniture, mom straight gorilla.
Yeah.
Ken, I ain't even had to do gorilla. I put my mom on speakerphone. I don't think my mom knew she was on speakerphone at first. And my mom was like, how much is it? Okay, walk out on her. And the lady listening right now, walk out on her. She says, my mom said they usually go, now you said Black Friday.
Oh yeah, you know me. We in the high-end furniture
Yeah.
store. I'm like, what's Black Friday sale?
Yeah.
And do y'all price match Art Van?
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
We try to see if they price.
That couch costs more than everything in Art Van combined.
Gardner White. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I was like, look,
So my
Value
mom
City
was
got this
sweet with it,
same
though.
couch on sale.
She was sweet with it because she said Black Friday. And lady said, we don't do Black Friday. And my mom said, okay, well, all furniture stores do January. So then the lady was like, okay, well, January, you know, whatever. Like, it ain't
She's like, we ain't
January.
doing nothing in January.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's high end.
Yeah, she was like, nope. So my mom said, all right, cool. How many pieces you get? I said, well, Didi want 3 pieces. She said, she ain't gonna give you a sale. And the lady was like, well, we don't do sale. My mom said, walk out. Walk out. Ain't no way you're gonna tell me you're gonna get 3 pieces of furniture. You
For
gotta
that
say,
cost.
just walk out. You know what I'm saying? And my mom said, how many people in the store? I said, nobody. She said, okay, walk out. They must not. And she
That's
said,
what I said. I said, we've
Yeah.
been in here 35. I ain't even seen another soul
I
in
ain't seen
here.
another soul in there. My
They
mom
just-
says, was that the same couch when you went the last time? Is that the one sitting there? Yeah. Okay, walk out. Before we left, 10%, 10%, 3%. You know what I'm saying? And actually, Candace is a numbers girl, and Candace gave me a number, and we went down from that number. Candace was like, absolutely, let's go for it. So, yeah, man, I'm just, and let me, mad shout out to my wife. You know, we continue to try to grow. For those of you who are listening and you're getting frustrated, if you're in school, you're running a business, you're in marriage, you're parenting, nothing is perfect. If it's gonna be great, you're gonna have to work at it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
my wife did something I've never seen her do before. We woke up this morning. CJ was, you know, like, look, we're gonna leave in the morning, leave Chicago, come back to Lansing so we could do this podcast. And my wife, we woke up, she said, yo, I just wanna tell you thank you. Thank you for the furniture. I was like, oh, okay. I was a little nervous, like, what does that mean?
You're welcome.
You know what I'm saying? No, I wasn't on that.
Oh, I know you weren't. I'm
wasn't on
teasing.
that. You know what I'm
No, it
saying?
was funny because I was there and I was just like, yo, here go the thing. I tried, Didi was, it's crazy too because I'm like, I think D don't understand. She's still thinking it's BTC. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the income. She like, I'm like, D, it's high. It is high. But you're going to have this for the rest of your life. Like this type of furniture, you don't,
Your
you know what I'm
kids
saying?
gone. You ain't got
I'm like, I
nothing to
bought a
worry
couch
about.
3.5 years ago. It's about done. You know what I'm saying? The pillows is sank in. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just time for a new couch. So I'm like, y'all going to have this. It's going to look crazy in the house y'all got now. But in the next house, it's going to look sweet. No, I'm just saying, it may not match the aesthetics of that. You know what I'm saying? It looked like it should be in like, you know, a 17,000 square foot mansion. But it is what it is. It's beautiful. And yeah, no, I'm in on it. So it was cool. Yeah. So Chicago for me, I don't want to talk about it because the Spartans lost to Duke again. I was at the game, just hurt. Yeah, just hurt. Went with a Duke fan. Got cocky, better steak dinner. So I'm down. You know what I'm
Steak
saying?
dinner.
I'm down to steak dinner. But I want to do a fair foul. And I told E last night.
Yeah, but he didn't tell me what it was. He's like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
So fair foul. Ken is here too. He can say this is fair foul. So we in the Windy City. It's cold. I get it. You know what I'm saying? We at the gig. You know, we do our thing at the gig. We talking, hanging. The girls ready to go eat. So we like, bet. Shout out to my boy Jay and his wife Camille. They came with us. And we drive about 10 minutes to the Cheesecake Factory. Now, it's cold.
It's cold, bro.
So as any gentleman does, I pull up at the door. I'm going to let the ladies out.
Right.
Fair foul that E got out as well and left me to go park the ride by myself. I'm thinking there's safety in numbers. I looked up. I thought E was in the back. I was like, E, we just go. I looked over. E walking in the Cheesecake Factory with the girls.
Me. What I was doing, Ken, I didn't know this was the fair foul. He's judging me. Ken, it was so cold that I ran to open the door for him so they wouldn't have to open the door on their own.
And then when you came back, I had already.
What you mean when you came back?
When you came back out to ride with me.
You took off. You took off. Yeah, he took off.
It's your fault.
He took off.
No,
I went to open the door, so I don't feel bad about that to go open the door for the lady.
Okay,
it was freezing.
Okay. So
it was freezing.
And then when I went to get the car to bring it back to the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh no, he never left. See, no, he
Bro,
never.
you seen the face?
No, but this is your car because he don't tell the full truth.
No, I'm telling the
He don't
story.
tell. What he was doing
That's not the story?
He was talking to Jay, right? So him and Jay was talking. So then they went to the door and talked. Then they went outside and talked. And I was like, bro, I'm not about to go out there and talk.
Okay.
He was talking. I'm like, now, if you're going to go straight to the whip, I'm going straight to it. But y'all know, he said it on the podcast before. You looking at my fingers now. I get cold. So I'm like, I can't stand outside and talk to Jay for another 15, 20 minutes. So if you want to go straight to the whip, and he not telling you this part. I love C. I love it though because it makes great for a podcast.
No,
but he never
bro,
said,
I'm telling y'all what happened.
I said, let me get the car. And he said, E, it's way too far. You're not going to know where it is. So I was like, bet. So
what I said was,
car.
you weren't going to know where it was. I didn't know how to explain it in a huge parking lot. Like,
notice he never said
but
that.
Look, though, I did,
he
but
never said
no.
I volunteered to go get
But
the car.
then you missed the part where I said, why don't you just roll out there with me?
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't roll out there with him because he was talking, Carl, and I can't stand in the cold.
We was talking at the door, but we weren't talking out. I went straight to the ride.
He never mentioned, I said, give me the keys. I'll just go get the whip while you're doing what you're doing. So he run the podcast, y'all. Who run the world? C run the world.
We're going to call this one the tie.
No, I'm saying though, he did jump out and then made me drive the whole way home from Chicago myself. No, that one I am lying because
I was going to say all day
I would
long,
never
never
let E drive the whip.
Never let Carl drive. Never let Ken drive.
Yeah. But no, so yeah, shout out to Ken who's in the building, man. Congrats again. We got the baby coming in a minute.
Yes, sir.
We got a chance to go by the new house, new baby. It was funny because it actually made me, think about, that was the same position Candace and I were in. We, closed on our house and it was finised like 2 weeks before Trey was born. And so
hey, same for
I know
us
what,
on both kids.
Yeah, right. And so,
kids.
you know what it's like to, have a child and then move in and, all of those things. And, life brings a lot of stuff. And of course, man, thank you to everybody for the prayers and support. Obviously, you heard last week what we went through with the death of Candace's father. And we're doing great, man. She's doing great. She's a rock star. She's bouncing back. Beautiful wake and funeral. He was a Marine. And so, they had to send off anybody who's been to a Marine or, a serviceman, funeral, they play the taps on there on the trumpet and, what I'm saying, just a beautiful send-off. And, I've been gone from home for like 3 weeks now. I think we don't going back till Monday. And, I know we kind of talked about, getting through that kind of stuff. And then, so we kind of, that's why I took Candace to Chicago. I wanted her to get away and, do those things. But the mind is crazy, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to ask E, like, as we're all going through this life, Ken is having a new baby and a new house. And yeah. Ken, you can get in on this for sure.
Please.
But, I was going to ask you guys today, like, what is happiness? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it might sound like a basic question, and I don't know how to, like, really break it down, but, like, I look around and everybody is really just trying to achieve the same goal of happiness. You know what I'm saying? Like Dee bought the couch, and, that was something, like, that made her feel good. Like, she's happy about that. You know what I'm saying? Or, like, I went to the Duke Michigan State game with Josh and Anders, and we had a great time, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I was happy about that, but, like, in life, in general, the mind is like so deep. It's like we do things to make us happy, but you know, it kind of ebbs and flows. And E, you're one of the happiest people I know, just in terms of like consistently happy. And so I think there's those of us who have these moments where you're happy, and then you have these other moments where you get into a funk and, you know, maybe anxiety or depression or, you know, some of those things, you know, sink in. And I actually, one of these days, I'm gonna bring on like a mental health expert, you know, who can walk us through, you know, kind of the psyche behind that. But the only reason I ask is because, you know, there's been so many people in the emails that have been hitting us up and, you know, just talking about how, you know, they've been stressed or, you know, they got anxiety, especially around the holidays and things like that with family and, you know, old relationships and stuff like that. And so what is happiness to you guys, I guess? How do you define happiness? Because at the end of the day, that's all we're trying to get to, right? Like at the end of the day, like how much money you make, you know what I'm saying? The car you drive, the house you live in, like you're trying to get to happiness. So people say you're trying to get to money, and I'm like, cool, you can get to money. Money is a cheap saying. Money ain't gonna buy you happiness, but it does help. No, I'm saying depending on what you like.
Vehicle, yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying, we run into people all the time who, you know, millionaires who you could tell they not necessarily happy. Like whatever they have done financially has not brought them that peace that, you know, they hoped they were looking for. And I see broke people who that, you know, not happy. So it's not like I'm saying money is the root of all evil, whatever you want to say. I just see people who are struggling, like I said, especially around these times, and everybody's just trying to get happy, right? And I'm like, yo, how do you get happy? How do you alleviate that stress? And what is happiness to you guys? And I just want to, you know, I'll share mine as well, but, you know, I want to know for you guys, like, what does that look like?
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny you say that. I guess going to college now, you know, the first thing came to me, and I went and looked it up in Google. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I guess for me, it's life, you know. And when I say life, I don't just mean, this ability to walk, see, heart beat, the blood. I mean, like literally taking advantage of life, being married, having children, family, bro. To me, like family is a big piece of life. And I don't mean family like just blood. We were talking about it at the dinner table yesterday. Like, we've been through a lot together. Stuff that I would have not wanted to happen, but as a result of it happening, I felt like it draws closer, because what it did was it alleviated some people. Like some of the stuff we went through, some people like, I'm out. I'm not interested in that. And so then we stayed together, and as a result of staying together in that hell, it actually created heaven, if you will. And the second one to me is probably the biggest one, liberty, man. Like I wake up every single day, and this is probably where I have my greatest challenges with humans. It's like, if I could control my own life, why would I let somebody else control it? You know what I'm saying? Like for real, when people say, why you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Because I literally control my own life. I control what neighborhood I live in. I control how much money I want to make. I control me being able to buy a couch and not being able to buy a couch, not having to, to me, yesterday was the biggest part of buying the couch was willing and dealing. Like I grew up in a community where you go to whatever they call it, Rent-A-Center. I don't even know if that stuff exists no more.
I saw an ad yesterday. It still
so
exists.
Rent-A-Center still real?
They got a Black Friday special.
And booming.
I'm talking about, and I remember my friends having to get a couch from them, knowing that, and I'm gonna say this for real, I believe this, that what they spent on that couch in 5 or 6 years is probably what I spent on this couch.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I spent the same amount.
And you don't own it at the end of that.
They don't own the couch.
Yeah, turn it back in.
So I think liberty is another one, really being able to own your own destiny.
Yeah.
Those are the things, that are happening for me and D. Of course, that's just another level, being able to enjoy it together. Like we built this together.
Yeah.
It's not just that you got this and I got this, but we got married. We was 19 years old, so we kind of built everything, together. So for me, that's how I see it.
Yeah, and Ken, I think you're mic'd up. I want to talk to you too, but and as we think about this discussion, because I know there's people listening who are like, okay, I'm with y'all, but like, I was listening to the conversation, and I didn't say much yesterday. I was listening to you and Candace, and here you are top of your profession, spiritual life on 10, you and your wife in marital bliss. You got all of these great things that you probably in your best physical shape that you've been in your life, right? That's another big one, you know, that determines our happiness. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm in great physical shape, I feel better, I'm happier. But then there's like this other thing, and not that it's wrong, but you have something in your life that's beyond your control that kind of like shakes you up from time to time, and that can impede your happiness. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you could be 110 in all of these areas, and then you can have this one thing that's jabbing at your side that irritates you. So like your whole body could feel good, but if your foot hurt, like Carl, you just had a toothache, right? You're right. You just got over the toothache. It's like you have let's say 10 components of life, and you can have one that just ain't doing well. And that can, you know, take away from your happiness. And so I've been on this thing lately where I'm trying to like, especially because of what we went through as a family, where it's like, yo, how can I try to be holistically happy? And even in the things I can't control. And, you know, when you know, Carl, you know, you're married now, kids and all of that, you know, it's easy to have these stressors, right? There's things that we think about, and I think fear does that to us, right? The fear of the unknown, things like that. And so Ken, for you,
or fear of the known.
Yeah, or fear of the known.
As Candace was talking, for me, my fear is, and I shared this with my son and my daughter the other day, my fear is there are times when I see things, Ken, that I say it must be. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you're a Lion fan, you know what I'm saying? And you win 6 in a row, and then your boy Stafford throw an interception run back. You like, here we go again. And it doesn't mean because he threw his pick six that we are there again.
Right.
But because you're used to seeing that. So I think it's the fear too of the known for me when I'm dealing with my kids. I have to be careful because it's like, yo, your grandfather or your father or your whatever, and you doing it. I'm like, not just you doing it, but here we go. Okay, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's about to happen all over again. So I think sometimes the known gets us in trouble. And it's like, yeah, you're seeing it, but just because you're seeing it doesn't mean it's gonna play out the exact same way it kind of played out, you know, in years past, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and no, I agree 1,000%. And that fear, I think for most people, right? That's the thing that'll kill you most. You most, and professionally,
Absolutely.
right? As an entrepreneur, you want to leave your job. It's like that fear that keeps you paralyzed. And so, you know, Ken, for you, what are those fears? You know, first time father. You know what I mean? New home.
Are there fears? Do you feel any fears?
Yeah, are there fears? I mean, and then
fears?
what would happiness look like for you in that situation?
Well, I think now that you know that we are expecting a child, like we're like 4 weeks out.
Yeah.
You know, so it's becoming more real and more real.
That means anytime now.
Anytime.
That baby can come anytime now.
And, you know, because we don't carry it as men, we don't carry the baby.
Right.
So there's this, you know, connection that I won't feel until I can see him and touch him.
Yeah.
But you know, things are playing in my head now. I'm thinking about my parents. You know, there's things that I'm discovering about them now that I know that we're having a son, and it's just like, wow, there are qualities in myself that may not be certain positive attributes that I'm seeing and that I picked up. And so now I'm like, man, you know, I'm thinking about what am I going to pass on to him? What do I not want? You know, so the fear is that I think I heard someone say, my mom said the other day, she was like, oh, you know, when he's born, probably for the first couple of years, he's going to really be close with the mom. About 3 or 4, he's going to start running around, chasing after you. You're going to be his hero. And I'm like, I'm going to be somebody's hero. Right. And so, like, what do I have to become?
Yeah.
And so I think it's the fear that I don't want to let this kid down. You know, I don't want my bad stuff to rub off on this kid. I don't want to make him feel a certain way because I'm afraid the bad stuff may rub off on him, and I start to give him a complex. You know what I'm saying? You act it out. So that's the fear that I don't want to let this kid down. I don't want to be a failure to this kid. I truly want to be this kid's hero. You know, and what do I have to become?
Yeah.
You know, that's the fear.
Can we talk the flip side though? What is it like though? Because I got people listening, and that's definitely that. I want the balance though. What was it like, that fear? Because I remember you were in an apartment for a while. Your girl wasn't happy. You still didn't make no moves. You know what I'm saying? She was happy. I mean, you gotta make some baby moves. You tried.
Oh yeah.
Success
No,
series.
Ken is our conservative comrade.
Yeah, you tried.
Ken.
But you
Ken
didn't do
been about to
anything.
buy a house for the last 6.5 years.
So what happened with the child that made you? You know what I'm saying? What happened with that? That you in a house now. You live around the corner from me.
A beautiful house, by the way.
That
Me and
probably
Ken
the couch would be better in your house than it would be in mine. You know what I'm saying? Just bought a brand new crib.
Yeah, he like the dude with the Honda Accord with the 36-inch rims on it.
LED light.
The couch in that crib.
I know I can pay for that Honda.
No, the fear is real though. I mean, without giving too much of it, because my wife is super private.
That's our own.
She's super private, but I think, this was a process to get to the house. Like, I think the first place when we first met, and I'll make it quick, we first met, and, we were dating, we were shacking up. I mean, it wasn't, what I'm saying? We were doing it the right way.
That's
But,
the other right way.
So we were in a
My right is wrong.
we were in a townhome for a while, and then some stuff started to happen. We had to get out of there. We say, it was God pushed us out because we were too afraid to step out. So he made it uncomfortable for us, and we left. So when we came into our new spot, a new apartment, we were like, I was like, we're gonna be here for a year, and I was like, for real about that. A year passed. We were in year 2. Some stuff started to happen.
That's a podcast.
Yeah,
that's another podcast. Year passed.
A year passed.
Yeah.
Year 2. Some stuff started to happen up under us that made it uncomfortable for us. So we were like, and this was the fear, our financial situation didn't look like it did before. We were actually in a better spot when we were living with less. And we had to step out when we had more. I'm sorry, we were living with less rent, we had more.
Wow.
We had to step out with less. And that's what made it. It was crazy. And it didn't change. But we had to get past that, the fear of like, okay, will we just be in financial ruin and be homeless? And that was just, it took a little while, and then we said, we gotta make this move. It's uncomfortable now for us, and we didn't wait as long before. So it went from like, the first time the uncomfortable situation was probably like 5, 6, 7 years.
Wow.
It went to 2.
Wow. Another podcast.
No, literally,
Yeah.
because not to be funny, but I remember when y'all had the first spot y'all were gonna close on, I think we had just had Jordan, or it was around there. And not to put Ken out there, but I had Jordan, moved twice, had Jesse and Ken, and then we're still talking about, we moving and we thinking about we moving. And we used to talk about it, so I ain't putting Ken out. But we used to talk about it a lot.
Which
Ken.
is funny because Carl, you used to be.
No
question.
And said me and E broke.
Yeah. 2 avatars.
Hanging around with a gorilla and a flamingo, it broke Carl. Carl started making all kind of moves.
I'm just saying, to Ken's point, there are other people listening
that are
right there, Ken, that are a year from now I'm going to, and then it turned into 5 years. So continue, Ken.
Yeah, so I mean, the 6, 7 years turned to 2 when we made the move. We made the move in 2, but we still had the uncomfortable situation, and we attacked it earlier, and then we said, let's do this, let's just do it. And so now we're in this house, and it's always uncomfortable situations, but I think, and I'd be real.
Do I have to have a baby though to?
No, and it was even,
if I'm listening.
Yeah. You got another one left in you?
It sounds like I need one to get to that next level.
You got one
Get
left.
that couch into the right house.
One little mini preacher.
No, but the fear, I mean, I think a lot of the fear comes from not having the faith in yourself to produce something. And I think that's
big.
truly, that's what it is.
Big. What do you mean, not believing in your skill set, or not believing that you're going like you're adequate enough to be able to provide on a high level?
Skill set, adequacy, and the ability to create like money. And it comes, and so you're like, all right, well, I have the skill set, I have the adequacy at it, but so it's just, it's a lot of, I feel like a lot of those decisions or non-decisions come from the fact, I feel like, because you have to step out and there may not be anything there.
Yeah.
And do you have the ability to create something?
That's so crazy,
when there's nothing
man. That's
there?
so deep. And you know why it's so deep, Ken? Because, you see cats who win on a high level, and a lot of times it's not because they any better than anybody else. They just don't have that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they just audacious enough to be like, yo, I'm about to start a company, and they just blow up. And that's why me and E always look at each other when we get to some of these companies and we look like, whoa, you a millionaire? Like, you're not that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they got that thing where they're able to step out. And I think that's deep that you said you have that fear. And I think as men, we don't often talk about ever really feeling inadequate or like, am I capable of this or am I capable of that? Right. That's a real fear. Like, yo, am I going to be able to earn a certain amount of money, you know, for this much time? Is it going to fall off? Is it going, you know, is it going to come to an end? I remember, you know, we told the story before, but even when we started popping, he was like, see, how long you think this going?
Yeah, because DDA hit me up.
Yeah. D wanted to know. D was like, yo, how long y'all think y'all going to be?
Yeah. I'm not, let me go see the ass. I don't know.
I'm saying this was, what, 8-9 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that you called me and you were like, yo, how long? And I don't know if it was feelings of inadequacy or anything.
Not on my part.
I just
my wife really wanted to know, and I love her. I wanted to give her an answer, and I figured like, hey, between C and I, because I'm just saying, C, because I have been doing it before.
Yeah.
I have been speaking before and only stopped because of school. You know what I'm saying? So when she asked me, I was like, oh, okay. But I know what Didi was asking me. Didi wasn't asking me, can we make money? Because I had been making decent money. Didi was asking, can we do it on a high level for a long period of time? I was like, okay, well, I don't know.
And this was back when he was getting paid $3,500, $5,000 speech.
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy?
It is.
Just think about it. Like she was like, are we gonna be able to do this?
Yeah.
For $5,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For 10, 20 years.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so, but I want to stay on what Ken is on because I think there's people out there that have that same fear, men and women, of inadequacy and things of that nature. So is it something that you challenging yourself to work through still, or how were you able to, you know what I'm saying? Like, where are you at with that now?
Start? How did that start?
How do you work past those fears? Because in life, we all have a desire to, even though E says I'm a control freak, I think we all want to know what's around the corner.
No questions
right?
asked.
Like we want to know that, you know, we got this thing planned out and it's going to be okay. And somewhere in our minds, not having control leads to fear, and then fear leads to paralysis. And so then we end up not doing anything, and we end up stuck, right? And so where are you with it now?
Well, like I always sometimes when I'm just by myself and I'm thinking, I'm like, man, I wish I can go back to my 20s with some of the stuff. You hear this before. I wish I can go back with some stuff I know now. But like, because now some of the paralysis, it's because I'm like, I don't have much time to make too many mistakes. That's what I feel like. And so sometimes you just be like, I'm not doing anything, which is not good. But it's like I don't have
you'd
much.
rather not do anything than do something and make a mistake.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You know, and I don't have to, big mistakes that could cost, because now it's like big responsibilities, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's big responsibilities. So it's like, all right, well, how do you become more strategic? Think about it, you know, but not take too long. And that's, you know, you always get on me about taking too long to do some things. You know, some of that is just perfectionism and just being the craft, but it's still like, okay, what's the right decision? And it's like a time thing. I don't have enough time to make too many mistakes, big mistakes that could cost me time.
Right.
Like, you know, and so sometimes I'm like, I wish I can go back to my 20s and just make those big mistakes. And then, because it's crazy when you see people, you know, your age, and they're just like doing big things. You're like, man, but you know, they have.
Yeah, but the crazy part about it though, Ken, is like, who said that mistakes were bad? Like, you know what I'm saying? In that particular sense, like, it was funny. When we were at the event last night, dude came up to me and was like, yo, y'all done built a multi-million-dollar company, da-da-da. What was your degree in? I was like, family community services.
Right.
He was like, you're a fantastic businessman. How did you learn all this? I told him, man, trial and error.
Yeah.
It's called trial and error.
Yeah.
Like, in this grand scheme of, you wouldn't expect to do anything right on the very first time, right? Like, the other day I was doing a podcast and I gave an example of, like, if you go to a corn maze, right? Like, you start off the corn maze, like, it's designed to, like, trap you, you run into a wall, you come back, you learn, nope, that ain't the way, you know what I'm saying? So, like, imagine going through a corn maze and being frustrated that you didn't just walk straight through that joke on the first one. Like, it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah,
but the expectation for life is you're going to walk straight through the corn maze first time, and as soon as you hit a wall, you're like, oh my God.
But I think more than hit a wall, and this is just my personal experience, Ken, I think that society, especially when you're younger, and adults who are fearful are training kids.
Right.
You got grown people who fearful, and they teaching me. So for me, Ken, when I didn't do well on the spelling test, it wasn't a start all over again. It was an embarrassment. Like the way she made me feel that I didn't know how to spell that word. You know what I'm saying? And just in general in life, I'm just gonna be real. I tease people at my church, you know what I'm saying, who are intelligent people who don't mean nothing by it. But like when you get something wrong, they will, you know what I'm saying, even as adults, you don't know that word, you did not spell that word. I'm like, well, nation, the T-I-O-N, I don't know when that says shun. So forgive me that, you know what I'm saying, I didn't pick that up as a kid.
N-A-S-H-U-N.
I'm just saying I didn't pick that up as a kid. But so I think when you're younger and you make error, you're dealing with grown people who make you feel stupid because you didn't get it and didn't say, oh, E, you didn't get it? Oh, sometimes it's inconsistent. Like I'm for real, when I teach kids the English language, I say, you're not the one that's crazy. It's a lot of inconsistencies. You feel me? But when you're young and you don't get nation right, somebody's like, bro, you don't get nation. And this is how I learned. One of my homies, I won't say the name, not that they probably care, but they were older and were switching schools because mom was a heroin addict and a prostitute. So they had to switch schools. So they're an adult now and they spell their T-H-A-I-R. And when I first started helping them with the GED, I was like, oh, bruh, congratulations. I actually pubbed him up like, oh, I get why you put this. It makes 100% sense. Air is A-I-R. And so you just put the T-H with that boy.
Oh, no doubt.
That make a whole bunch of sense.
There.
You know what I'm saying? It's there. And then so he was like, okay, got it. But it was two other ones. He's like, okay, what's the other two? And I'm like, well, we just got there. But what I'm just saying, Ken, is I did make him feel stupid like, there. Where would you get that from? Well, I know where you would get it from. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Some words are sight words and you only learn them by seeing them, and then some are phonetic that you sound them out. So I just think, Ken, when we're growing up, we get bashed. And they don't mean any harm, but they're where you are. They wish in their 20s or they wish in so now they teaching us how to fear. And I'm saying I'm guilty as a father of doing it. Of saying, yo, I'm teaching you, some of the stuff I'm teaching you is cool, but some of the stuff I'm teaching you is fear. And it's legitimate fear because when you look at the generations, if you do what they did, this might, when C talking about the pursuit of happiness, well, you can't get to it doing this. But instead of just saying, yo, you made a mistake, it's okay that you made a mistake. Let's talk about the past, but let's not talk about it in fear. Let's not talk about it like the boogeyman. Let's just talk about, hey guys, these are some of the things that have happened in the past. You may make some of the same errors. If you do, you can get back up and start again, but we don't do that. I'm sorry, guys. I have not always done that. I get fearful, and now I'm talking to you based on my fear because I don't want you to get hurt. But then you can end up actually getting hurt. Why? Because you are not doing it with a real clear understanding. Ken, that's good.
And I think it's this weird dichotomy now that I'm even thinking about, that, because Ken, you're talking about, you're having a son and passing things on to him and things of that nature. But how do you not accept failure, but let them know that failure is okay and all of those things while simultaneously building confidence? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you're failing, and I'm telling you that's cool, but I want you to be confident in what you do the next time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this weird, it's this weird thing. And I think, we've had this conversation on the podcast before, Carl, but just like, yo, I'm trying not to overcorrect Trey. Like you spill some milk. I'm not about to just jump on your head because I don't want you gun shy. I want you to go on offense. I want you to believe, and have that confidence and be able to explore those things. So when you talk about the fear component, Ken, is that something that I'm guessing when you say you're worried about passing some of those things along, is that something that you've worried about when you?
No, actually, it's so what he said about being critical when somebody mess up. There's the opposite end where you give excessive praise. Like, and I think that's dangerous too because
it sucks, but you like,
participation trophy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody get the participation trophy.
It's excessive praise. And you come out here and then it's like when you get hit, then it's just
that's not the real world.
And I think I'm on that spectrum. I didn't get excessive praise, but it was like, you grow up, and I'm not gonna go too deep, but you grow up.
We got a 90-minute podcast, bro. Take your time.
Like, you grow up, and to my dark-skinned brothers out there, you grew up at a time where light skin was in. I just say,
Still it.
You still,
I don't know. See the film. When did it go out?
What did the tie change?
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't get the memo.
Tyreek's with the Pepsi commercial.
Have you seen Tyreek's lately?
He switched it back. He switched it back.
Okay, Drake brought us back, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. You know what I'm saying? Myself.
So, when you say, oh, I'm dark, and you get like this where you got to be You're this, you're that, and then just growing up.
Well, what do you mean by that though? Seriously, I don't know.
All right,
Like,
so
I know exactly what you're talking
you
about.
know when you.
but Ken, like my age, my dad used to say like he was real
It
dark
never
coming
went
up.
nowhere, bro.
No, I'm
It
saying my
never
dad
went
is
nowhere.
dark skinned. He said when he came up, everybody would call you like too black and all this, and he said James Brown, I'm black and I'm proud came out. He was like, I was the man on the block.
But I'm
saying, Ken, you not even. First of all.
But I'm saying still situational, Ken, that those songs can bring some sense of relief, but there's still this undertone. You know
But
what
I'm saying I want to know what it is for Ken, because Ken, like I said, he's my age. You're a little older.
No, it's the same though. It's the exact same. And I didn't deal with the dark skin thing, but I grew up in a family where my father's dark, but my aunt and my uncle was light, but then my other aunt was dark. So I remember hearing stuff where the lighter ones got this treatment. It just kind of kept going.
So they created so they're like, we're gonna attack this before you go to school, and especially because my sister she's like super light.
Right.
So it's like we're gonna attack, and she was 5 years under me, but so we're gonna attack this for you. When you go to school, you hear stuff, we about to build it up in you. So that was a positive thing, but I think other things like when you do something that was good, like it was good, but then sometimes you may get excessive praise for it, or you do something and you get, so it's praise. I mean, granted, my parents weren't just excessively praising me all the
I got
time.
you. You said when you got to the real world.
You do certain things and you get to high
I
school,
called
college.
Ken talking about the video. He's like, hold up. This is not.
And it's real, because you was like,
Oh yeah, no, I know. I apologize, Ken. I've turned a new leaf in life. You know, I've turned a new leaf. I don't come to staff meetings anymore.
I'm just throwing this piece. I called Josh last week and we was talking about the whole Black Friday. I'm like, Josh, I want to do something crazy for Black Friday for the whole breathing verse. And Josh was like, dude, and he said it in a real casual way, but he's like, I'm where I am because I take big risks. And it hit me like, oh, he's like, I'm willing to bet the house on it, Carl. I'm going with you. I'm going to bet the house, but just know that it could fail. I'm not scaring you. But if it fails, we just got to come up with something else. Like, start thinking of the next thing quick. But he's like, I'm willing to bet the house. And I'm like, yo, that's not me. I know that ain't Ken. So I'm like, being exposed to that, I think is the major thing now that's helping me like be able to balance with a Jordan and see that kind of stuff.
And it goes back to, can you get it back?
Right.
Like, you know you can get it back. Like with but I think like I was saying with the excessive praise or whatever, but that can be dangerous. But you asked the question. See, how do I forget the question you asked?
Yeah, well, he was just asking, you feel like you're gonna pass that fear on.
Well, yeah. Like what do you work? And can you switch it? You know, is it too late to make a change? Is it, and how do you actively try to correct that? Because we're all trying to get better, right? Like we go to the gym, we're trying to get better. You start being vegan because you want to be healthier. You know what I'm saying? Like, but certain things.
You want Diddy to be healthy.
That's what I want.
After y'all made me run to Grand Lux last night, driving around, so y'all can get.
Did you get the salmon?
A 60. I did get the salmon.
How was it?
I got the salmon from Cheesecake Factory, but my wife and Diddy decided that they wanted. We went. You talk about spoiled. This side note, Ken, stay where you are. These jokers went to Cheesecake Factory for dinner, but wanted Grand Lux dessert.
Desserts. Oh, no doubt.
So we had
Why
to.
not? We talking about happiness. Why not?
No, absolutely. That's what I told my wife. But that balance, and we'll talk about this in the next podcast. But I'm telling you, when you go, Ken, when you, again, control, and you got to be careful with the control piece. But a part of the vegan boy was control. But you got to find that balance. So the control is, I know what the research says. If we can pull it over, not necessarily even strict vegan, but we got to get rid of some stuff to kind of, whatever. And then when you got your girl seeing you going vegan and she like, I want chocolate chip cookies. It's like, bro, it can hit. Like, yo, I done made all these sacrifices. And then there are times where you want to go, now she ain't even necessarily go back, all the way back, but there are times when she wants to, indulge, if you will. And it's just like, yo, I'm trying to, but it's like, you can't do it, and you can't do her health to the point where it becomes a burden and it ain't fun no more. But I'm being real. I go 30 straight days, whatever, and then it's like, okay, I'm about to go grab, and it's the Eve boy. It ain't never just, let me go grab. It's the Eve boy, like, go and get a piece. I'm gonna eat this fruit. I'm gonna need you to eat a piece of this fruit. So, to see point, literally, and I wasn't tripping. I actually said it because Didi don't like cheesecake. So Candace was like, I prefer to have the butter cake, boy, but I'll eat cheesecake. And I saw that look in Didi's eye like, the pecan hot warm chocolate chip. And I was like, yo, why don't we do this? Don't worry about it. Let's just go over there. So it's still even a balance for me because a part of me don't want to say, let's go to Grand Lux and get you no chocolate chip cookies when we're not trying to eat that. But another part of me is what C is saying. Yeah, you want the future to be better in terms of her health, but also the pursuit of happiness.
Balancing the happiness now.
That's it.
Yeah, because it ain't worth, it may not be worth destroying happiness just to
eat right.
Yeah, I mean, and we had that conversation before, you know what I'm saying? And we'll get back to it, but I want to let Ken finish. And then E, I want to ask you, because you got grown children, but so you understand the question now?
Yeah, and not to pass on that fear.
Yeah. Or fear, or whatever those negative traits you perceive to be. And now you got me questioning myself, like, because I always I named my son after me. I'm hoping he just, continue to take it to that next level. No, I got definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm hoping that he grows up confident.
I did the opposite. I didn't name my son after me because I wanted to go somewhere that I couldn't go. It's hilarious. Anyway, keep going. I mean to.
No. That's it.
I just think I can't do it with words alone. Like I can't just tell him. Like we do a class, a birthing class. We've been doing it for a couple months, and the midwife said children are master mimickers, and so it's like you gotta do it. He has to see me doing it, and they're smart. So and I didn't realize how smart kids were until everybody around us got kids. Just hearing the conversation. So it's like they have to see me doing it, and with words and explaining things and talking. But I can't tell him not to do this, and then he's seeing daddy and do that what I told him not to do. And it's just going to be a constant calibration and just self assessments and being honest with myself and my wife and I being honest with each other. It's a new phase. So I realized, man, it's like it's constant every day. I'm like, it's a new phase. And it continues to be a phase. It's like, newborn, infant, toddler, this, teenager, adult. Like it's just constantly in new phases.
We learning every day, bro. It's something new. E, when you look at your own kids and their ability to make decisions, the confidence level and things of that nature, is there anything that you would go back as a parent and change and say, man, I should have been more of this for Jalen. I should have been less of this for Jalen. I should have been more of this for Jada, whatever. Is there something that you would say, yo, I would go back and change this in order to try and instill more of this? You know what I mean?
You know what I would say, I would say, and this is something that I'm doing, I think, now, studying this millennial generation. I think what I would do is be a little more cautious of the environment and what is needed for the environment. You know what I'm saying? And let me just case in point. I work, a lot of D1 programs, and I have noticed that there are some coaches who have kept their exact same coaching style that had maybe in the 90s and the early 2000s were very successful. You know what I'm saying? But then I've noticed that perhaps that same style with a newer generation of kids may not necessarily be as, beneficial, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the thing that I would have done different. I felt like a lot of how I was raised, Ken, a lot of what I knew to be a reality is what I based it on. But as they got older, and what I mean by that is, and I say this and people sometimes hear it in a derogatory way, and I don't know how to resolve it, Ken, because I didn't grow up in this generation. But it's a very soft generation in terms of you do have to almost overpraise for those of us who come from a different generation. You know what I'm saying? It's like overpraise. It's like you can't tell them the truth without it hurting their feelings. But this is what I had to learn. Even though you didn't grow up like that, you grew up in way more of an industrial type of revolution. You grew up in a time where, people were, they weren't using, not that we weren't using our brain, but not in the same way kids are using it now. They don't use their hands in the way that we did back then. And so in that environment, it was you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I found myself telling my daughter, like how I grew up, but it's like, is she not growing up in the city? I mean, I'm just being real. She's not growing up in an urban community. So the cues that I'm giving her would be great if you was growing up on 8 Mile and Braille. But she at Michigan State University, she probably, whatever. And so I think the thing that I would probably do different is just learn them more. And as Jalen got older, I started having him read the 5 love languages for teenagers and trying to find out what his love language is, the new assessments we took, and trying to parents see from their strengths or weaknesses as opposed to this, philosophical, you know what I'm saying, this is what you're supposed to do. But I think the thing that I'm doing, I want to say this to every parent that's out there, I think what I'm doing different than what I saw done before is being willing to change as I'm older. Because I kind of grew up in a situation that however my parents were, that's pretty much how they were. My mom wasn't about to be on no, son, this is not working between the two of us. Let me hear more of what you have to say. It was more of her forcing her will on me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And saying, no, bump that. I know what the real world. And here's what I can say. My world probably looked more like my mom's world. And the spooky thing about raising these kids, my kids' world don't necessarily look like my world. Does that make sense, Ken? My world and my mom's world, they weren't real far apart. And so the stuff that she was giving me was definitely helping me to grind and do what I'm doing. Whereas Jalen's world is a big, do you understand? They don't have to go to work. Like they no longer have to go to a physical building from 9 to 5. They no longer have to be subjected to a salary. Do you understand that these kids can come up with an app and make millions and millions of dollars? They're now connected to the world via social media. They can date long distance. Me and Didi were away from each other for a summer and you would have thought it was the end of the world. All we had was a payphone with 50 other people standing at the payphone waiting to use it. They have their own personal phone that they can see each other. Like you can physically see this person on the other end. And so the world that they're in, I know nothing about. But I'm trying to prepare them for this world that I know.
There's some universal truths though, you know what I mean?
Well, and that's the part I wouldn't change. You talk about it, Ken. I don't feel bad about putting it on my son. And this is what I don't know if I've ever shared this before. If my son could live in my home forever, I wouldn't have raised him the way I raised him, Ken. I raised Jalen the way I raised him because I knew he's only going to be with me 18 and I can create a world for him that would be a lap of luxury for 18 years. But then when he got to the real world and the way they would treat him, I knew that, you're going to have to sacrifice. Man, that stuff I would do to Jalen, and Jalen would be looking at me like, I can't believe you. He would have actually even grew up thinking, I can't believe this. You must not love me. You got something against, I never forget, he told me one time, you must got something against me. And I was like, no, and I'll take this lick, but you're going to be out of my house from 18 or however long you live. And when you get in the real world, so when C calls and says, man, I can't believe Jalen went to the grocery store. Candace like Jalen went to the grocery store and he knew to get the right fruit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't come back with damaged fruit, or he didn't come back with the car on E. He brought the car back full of gas, or he cooks, or he take care of the kid. So for me, it's like I might have had to sacrifice Ken on the front end, but on the back end, I know I raised a man, right? And that's hard because sometimes in this society, you can't do both. You can't be, like you said, overpraising them because then when they go out there, they're going to look for it. Or you can't be too hard. Whereas when they get out there, they got this, you know what I'm saying, they got this wall up. So the universal principles wouldn't have changed. See, I felt the same way about my father who raised me. My mama felt they was a little too hard with like the, what do you call it, street lights coming on and all of the curfews. But what my mother showed me was, even you an entrepreneur, still a curfew. Like you still can't get up and go to bed whenever you want. So no, see, but I will say this, I just want to say this to parents in my generation. You grew up watching your parents not change, be willing to change. And man, the stuff I'm saying to Jalen, I don't know if he listens to the podcast, so I don't want to give away my secrets. But I'm actually, I called Candace and was like, yo, Candace, I'm having a situation that we can't get by. And please hear what I'm telling y'all. I didn't call 5 Candaces. I called one Candace. She gave me some information and I didn't want all of it. And so I'm saying this, Kim, because there are people who listen to me that they're going to get counsel, and if they don't hear what they want to hear, then they're going to go to the next person.
I'm going to get counsel until I hear what I was going to tell myself.
And I'm saying I didn't do that. I said, choose who you think is going to be able to be, what is the word? Objective. Choose that person. And then she said some stuff to me that I didn't really want to hear. But I made up in my mind, this is who I'm going to listen to, and I'm going to move forward. I'm just saying this. My father who raised me would have never gone to Candace and asked Candace what she think about, and no disrespect, I'm not saying he should have, but he's not going to ask what you think about how I'm raising my child.
It just didn't
It's
happen.
just this how I'm going to raise my child. And I know it, but for me, listen to me, parents, I just asked Candace because I wanted to see, am I not And what I heard from Candace was, and I didn't hear it in a negative way. I just heard you want to control your life, and I do. I do.
Right.
Against anybody. Like I want to, like if anybody is a control freak, like I said, my control freak, I tease Didi and CJ because when I call them control freaks, I just mean they're going to control you too. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that because I need
it. works out.
Yeah, it works out
works
for me.
out,
Didi said the other day, you're a great flamingo, but you got meat gorilla and your mare, you got sea gorilla. You need these gorillas. And I do. But I'm saying, Ken, I realized talking to Candace yesterday that you have to be careful because even for me, the challenge is not with my son or my daughter. The challenge is, I just want to control my life, bro. I don't want nobody. When I build something, I don't want nobody to be able to come and tear it down. Nobody. And so some of the stuff I might have done with my son and my daughter, I even did it with C. But C, whoever he was at that age, was like, all right, E, I'm willing to compromise. So what Candace taught me yesterday was like, when you have children, it's just some stuff that's going to be out of your control. You let them borrow your car, they 19, 18, 19, it may not come back the way you are used to having it. But you take that risk and you got kids. And when Candace was talking, she didn't know it. But what I saw was I totaled my mom's car when I was 17, 18 years old. She let me borrow her Escort. And I was away from home at that time. I was homeless. I wasn't at home. And my mom was like, I'm scared. I would at least like a car that you could sleep in the car, you can get around. And I totaled that joint, Ken. And I'll never forget hearing Candace, it brought it back. I jumped out that joker when I got in the accident and ran. I don't know where I was running to, but I ran. I ran.
Did you hit somebody or did you
I hit
hit
somebody.
Oh.
I dodged her, but
hit
I hit
and
the
run.
curve.
A hit and run.
I hit the curve.
But a little
and
run.
I did, and I ran. And I literally ran, seeing the police, of course, I'm not thinking, they backtracked it, whatever. My mom called me. And so as I'm listening to Candace, I'm like, how did your mom feel? You tore up her car. You know what I'm saying? That was her car. And my mom takes care of her stuff. And I told her it. And so with my kids, praise God, I did name them after me, Carl, so they have not done as bad as I've done. You know what I'm saying? Jalen might have got some tickets on campus, but he never totaled my vehicle. Jada has never totaled my vehicle. She might have got a flat tire, but I'm just saying, Ken, I'm growing as a parent, and so I just want you to know what you're afraid of now. Even when you get to my age, you still. And then I'm gonna have to have grandkids, and we're gonna fight.
And that's what I want to get back to.
Yeah.
The happiness thing.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you could be great marriage, kids, financial situation I'm talking about 10, you got $1 million stash, and you're overweight, and it's killing your happiness.
Yeah.
Or you could be in shape, 6-pack, the whole 9, kids doing great, straight A's, they at Harvard, crushing the game, and you and your wife beefing.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get that? Like, it's so many components to life that it's like, when one thing going good, another thing happen and go bad. You know what I mean? And you guys know I got a lot of emotions just because it's been a hard 2 weeks. This has been the hardest 2 weeks of my adult life, especially as a husband, right?
And
like
we've been at the height of our,
of course.
we at the height of some stuff.
Right, exactly.
And this stuff come.
And you got so many plans, and then boom, you get hit with it, and it's like, everything is good. And now you interject this foolishness, and it brings down your average.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you 10, you throw one failing grade in there, you might not be at a 10. You see what I'm saying? Because you didn't get like a 6. You got like a 1 or 2, right? And that brings down your curve of your whole happiness. And I think if people looked at their lives, right, like people who, have that anxiety and depression or, things like that, usually it's not everything in your life going wrong. It's what you've chose to give that energy to in those 1 or 2 areas where you're like, this is crazy. And so you might have been going through it for some days off of maybe you and Jalen having a conversation or something you didn't like he was doing. But like I said, you got all these other things that are going well in your life. And I'm saying, how do we get that genuine, holistic happiness when you have areas that are struggling like that?
Candace said it yesterday. Candace said, I don't know if I want to use the word pencil or pen in, but almost like, you know what's going to happen. And your problem is not what happened. Your problem is these expectations that you've set up that everything is going to be whatever. And then she said, here's the crazy part. If in fact your life is going the way you think it should go, all these dreams and goals you have, that thing that you're looking at that's negative is actually going to take your thing to the next level.
Right.
So you look at us. There are some major challenges that we faced that really, see, if it wasn't for those challenges, me and you wouldn't be sitting here. If it weren't for those challenges, somebody else would be president of this.
Yeah.
I'm just being realistic.
Yeah.
There are some actual situations that if those
Yeah, but you can connect those dots looking back. But at the time, we wasn't running around singing hallelujah because of it.
But I will say this: there are things that I've said hallelujah about because I didn't let the situation overwhelm me. So most of the stuff in my, like with DDMS, I never let that do it.
No, I know.
And you know why though? Listen what Candace said yesterday, because when Didi got sick and I was able to calculate everything, I saw in my mind, oh, I can control this.
You still knew the steps to get back.
I'm good. I know she's sick, but I can't. Whereas some of the stuff that happened with the company and just being real, why I think and I'm past it now, and I think I'll do much better as a parent. But there are times when I felt like, yo, my kids have the potential to do some stuff and I can't control it because they grown and they like don't talk. Like we had that type of relationship where they're a lot like their parents. Like they are entrepreneurial in mindset. None of my kids are really more we're gonna follow passive support. They're not into that. They're gonna do their own thing. So when I'm talking to them, I think, listen to Candace yesterday, the fear was, oh, he gonna do whatever he wanna do. And she gonna do whatever she wanna do.
Where did that come from?
You feel me?
Where'd that come
So
from?
what was this 18 years of parenting for?
You feel me? I'm just saying, like, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And this might affect all of what I've worked
I want to
for.
give y'all the visual. He's drawing plays on the board
Oh, no
here.
questions asked.
Yeah, y'all can't see it, but he's got
I'm
the
just
little
saying, I got
whiteboard.
here.
He's actually
I
drawing
got
plays.
Didi, me, happiness, and then and here's the deal. Normally when you talk about our happiness,
Yeah.
it's this force field.
Yeah.
But now you have people who are inside of that
Inside
force
the
field.
Oh, how did they get in there?
You feel me?
How did they get in?
You feel me? And then even
Who
when you
let
think
them in?
about us, I think the danger is, you
got
know,
more people in.
More people in. So with me, you, CJ, and so we were able to control all this, geeked up, and then you add more people, and now whatever their personalities or whatever their challenge is
Right.
affects this right
Yeah,
here. You feel me? I
and
think
that's what I'm asking
scares
you,
us.
and I think that's the thing is you have so many things that
Yeah.
can affect your happiness.
Yeah.
Carl, you gotta elaborate on this because I know you're in that same boat of you got so much going on. Like, yo, you got business, you got all of these components of life,
And then you
and
drop
one
a
of them
niece,
bound to
then you
be
drop
going
a
wrong.
niece in there.
Yeah,
You drop a grown niece in there that you trying to help.
Yeah, you're
get
right.
to the next
Yeah,
level.
for you,
month,
yeah.
school.
But I'm and that's real, and I'm saying
It
like
changed the whole
it
dynamic
changed
of
the whole
crib.
dynamics of everything.
Yeah.
And then so then what happens is too, you start dwelling on that one thing that's really pissing you off, and now it starts to bleed over into all these other areas. And then before you look up, you're like, yo, I'm not happy.
Bruh, it's so crazy. I'm just saying this week, so I'll give y'all insight. So he just mentioned my niece. So I ain't gonna call the school out, but you want to call Gazelle Donkey of the Week,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. I'm just like, bruh, we send them a check every month. We're on a payment plan for the month, and somehow they can't figure out a system after a year and a half how her payments are coming. Every month, the same day, within the 15th to the 18th, right after I
Yeah.
get paid, they get a check,
Yeah.
and she got her account on hold. I'm going to where you're saying. So I'm in the middle of, we got Black Friday, we trying to come up with some Breathe University stuff, planning.
Yep,
We got
yep.
the conference in LA, and she sends me a text like, yo, my account on hold. I can't get my classes, and if I don't get my classes, I might miss out. Like, this is going into her final
No
semester.
question.
She had a community college. It's a 2-year joint, and if I don't get the right class, now it could be turned into 2.5 years. Now I'm like, yo, what is going on? So it's something that I got to stop and deal with. But I think the only thing that works. So I heard a podcast. I was listening to Sean's podcast,
Okay.
and Sean T was on Sean's podcast. Just so y'all ain't confused.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sean T said, "Yo, you got to realize that he was talking about the planets. He's like, one of the things that worked for me, and it's funny that you're talking about this. He's like, yo, I got to the point where I realized, and I'm paraphrasing what he said. But you're like the sun in your universe."
Yep.
You are literally like the sun. The sun has to be that. The sun has to come up every day for this universe to work.
Yep.
All right. So I think that's the one thing, that pulls me back. Like, yo, I have to be the sun of my universe.
Yeah.
If E wakes up one day and he's not E, like our whole universe crushes to some regard. So
Yeah.
the short version of it, sorry, is that if I don't get to where I need to, like, okay, I could go on a funk when I get the bill or this or that, but if I don't get back to what I need to fast, oh, this whole thing could come crumbling down real quick. So that's what works for me. Like, I got to be realistic. Like, dude, you have to be. I got my wife's not working. She's at home. She's taking care of the kids. We got the company going on. We got stuff at the church going on. It's a lot happening. But I cannot honestly afford. I'm human. A day, 2, a week, maybe. I just said we came back from LA. I promise y'all. I saw the clouds in Michigan. I took a hit. I'm being real.
Yeah.
Like this week, I'm just kind of like, yo, I don't even feel it. But I know I can only go so long. Like I have to be around
bounce that
something
out.
to get me
Yeah.
out. And I'm saying
Yeah.
to those that may not have it, that's the advantage of having the environment around you that can help bounce you back. That's the only thing that I have. Like, I'll be real. Like, you move me from this environment, I might go a month with this doggone weather out here. And I'm kind of like, I'm still a diligent person. I'm going to get my work done. But I ain't going to have that fire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, hey, being around, doing this podcast is fire. I go back home now, warmer than I was when I got here. So stuff like that, I'm saying you got to get in your life, because if you don't have it, man, 2, 3 days, weeks, months,
Yeah, no question.
that sun out of your universe, and you know what happened? The whole planet freezes.
Yeah.
I think you can chase happiness, like, cause it's like, cause what is it really? Like, you hearing what you guys are saying, something can come in and just throw it all off. And so I guess to pull from scripture, is Paul being content in every situation. It's like, really, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, cause it's not happy, it's like a drug, really.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to feel something, and you're trying to go after that in all these situations that's bad. You're trying to feel something.
No question.
And so it's more like, okay, how do I take these situations and, be content, or be like, this is what it is, but find.
That thing. And what Candace said to me that I thought was deep was, like, yo, recognize it for what it is. It's fear. And what you think might happen might not. But also, she gave me an example. I can't use the example because of somebody else's life. But the example in somebody else's life, that what you said did happen to them. It happened years ago at a real crazy time. But guess what? They still are champions at what they do. And it was something that was caused by somebody in their inner circle. But it didn't stop them. You feel what I'm saying? And so what Candace said to me was, yo, E, here's the deal. What you think might happen, might happen. It might happen. The fears, the things the worst thing you think could happen, it might happen.
Yeah, I just looked up the definition. It says unpleasant feeling triggered by the perception of danger, real or imagined.
Real or imagined. And so that's what
Yeah.
Candace was saying to me is real. But here's the difference between Dee Dee's situation and what I'm thinking could happen. What I'm thinking could happen hasn't happened. What I didn't think could happen happened.
That's happened.
But it didn't bother me with Dee Dee because I hadn't had time to do all that thinking. So I just woke up one day
That's real.
and she had MS.
Yeah.
And I had to deal with it.
Yeah.
You feel me? The other
You
stuff
didn't
is
see it
dangerous.
coming from 6
I didn't
months
see-
away.
I didn't see it coming, see?
Yeah,
So I
that's real.
didn't waste no time on no crazy emotions. With my son and my daughter, I'm just being real, bro. Not in a bad way. I got fears. I mean, you look at this room. You look at the marriages. I want my son and daughter to be in a happy marriage.
Yeah.
I do. I don't want them with just anybody. I don't. I've seen what can happen when people link up with the wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my daughter to be abducted.
Yeah.
And it's real. When you watch TV, I don't want that stuff. And so there are conversations we have, but I have to be careful because I'm having the conversation and, okay, make sure when you do this, you do that. And it's like, okay, Dad, it ain't going to be fun. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm not saying it because I don't want you to have fun, because I was the one that gave you the tickets, or I'm the one that blessed you with the vehicle. I'm the one that got you the house. Matter of fact, I sent you to college. But I'm just saying, when you go to lock up and I'm getting messages every day from Michigan State. You got to understand, I'm a father. So when you get the alerts, it's just an alert. When I get the alert, I'm like, yo, it's the third rape that didn't happen on
My niece got
campus.
in the car yesterday and said it just happened at her school. Somebody went to the bathroom and just got. I'm just like, yo, it's real.
You feel me?
How do you
So
deal
I'm
with
not
that?
I'm trying to explain my kids.
When I tell you I froze in the car, like I couldn't even drive. Like I'm like, yo, this could have been her getting in the car telling me something just happened to me, and I was sitting there like, yo, that's crazy.
You feel me? So we got to be cautious, Ken, not to let that drop. And again, to what Candace said, somebody is going to get raped. It's going to happen. Somebody is going to get sick. That doesn't mean it has to be the end of the world because it happens.
That's a perspective.
You know what I'm
out of this
saying?
world.
It doesn't mean that.
Don't
it
nobody
don't mean
wanna hear that.
Nobody wanna
But I'm
hear
just
that.
saying, to Candace's point, I was homeless, bro. It's the worst thing that could happen to a parent. My mom's was like, do you know what you put me through? She was like, do you know what it felt like to not know where you were? not to know if you were safe or not. She's
Every
like, you
time
was
the
on the
phone
streets
ring,
of Detroit.
bruh.
She said that. You was on the streets of Detroit. She's like, you weren't in some little private school or some group. You were literally on the streets. I didn't know where you were. You didn't call me you my firstborn. I didn't know what was going on with you. So you know, and so now I think about what my mom went through and it's like, shoot, I don't, not only do I not want to experience it, I don't want to put my mom through whatever. So, but we got to be cautious, Ken, because it cannot drive you to not be you. Because when you're not you, you're just not you. I know I talk about 120 all the time, but if fear keeps you from being 120, and so I look at my son, I'm grateful for the conversation with Kat, because look at my son, there's some things that we've had to do, but if I would have stayed who I was and been talking from that, and who knows? And what you have to believe, man. C said it. I heard this other dude on the prayer line say it. I've heard so many different people who are close to me say it, like, yo, E, let's just be real. As it relates to who you guys are, company, private, whatever, y'all the patriots, if you will, of this thing. Trust the process, E. You talk about it all the time, but you guys have created a solid system. Trust the system. Just believe that, yes, he gonna throw some interceptions. I ain't never seen, I was about to say Bledsoe. I've never seen Brady not have a season where he didn't throw an interception. I've not seen a season where he didn't fumble the ball. I've not seen a season where he didn't do a 3 and out. I've seen Bledsoe do a 3 and out. But guess what happened? He still won the Super Bowl. And there was a year he had perfection, a perfect season, and lost the Super Bowl. But there's a year where he didn't have perfection, but he won the Super Bowl. And to me, that's what I was hearing Candace say. You want perfection and not accomplish anything, or you want to let life
Perfection and the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I want. See,
Oh, no,
that's what I want.
that's what we all want.
I mean,
I'll go 16-0 and win. Yeah.
Didn't Golden State won it, and they didn't get it.
Yeah, they got the most wins ever and didn't
but
win.
they didn't win it. So Candace is like, which one are you focusing on? You focusing on the end result here, that a lot of stuff may have to happen to have that end result, or you want the process to be perfect, and we know the reality.
Well, the two do have something to do with each
with each
other.
other.
You got to make the
Absolutely.
playoffs to
Yeah,
get
you
to
do.
the Super
You
Bowl.
do.
You know what I'm saying?
You
You
do.
can't have too many L's or you ain't going to the playoffs, and you doggone sure ain't going to win the Super Bowl. So I think the two are intertwined. But again, going back to my example of the corn maze, it's like, yo, it's a way to get through that joint.
Yeah.
You're just not about to walk through it unscathed. Like, you're just not about to just, matter of fact, if you went to a corn maze and got through it on the first time, you'd be like, this was whack.
This was whack.
The
It
whole
was.
point of it is to
Yeah.
hit some hurdles.
Yeah.
You work together, teamwork, find your way around. Oh, this don't work, backtrack this way, do this again. And if you went into life with those expectations that, yo, I'm going to hit some roadblocks, there's going to be some things, and not let those crush you, but yet let them, you learn from it, right? I would hope you don't keep making that same mistake. Okay, we turned left down this one
I was about to
7
say,
times.
How long do you need
That
to be
ain't
in
it.
the-
You know
How
what I'm
long is
saying?
too long to be in the maze?
Right, exactly. Well, I don't know. And here's the thing with life. Forever.
It ain't.
It's a
Right.
forever maze. Like E, I'm trying to figure out how to make sure, Trey is, using the bathroom correctly and, you know what I'm saying, sleeping in his own bed. I got these little, our own little issues. Avery biting everybody and terrorizing daycare. Like, I got my own little worries. I told them, when they were talking yesterday, I was like, remind me not to complain about Trey and Avery. Because he 18, 20 years past where we are as a parent.
Yeah.
And still
going through
learning,
some
growing,
stuff.
anxiety, dealing with your child. Jada off in Detroit at concerts, and he calling around at midnight trying to find her. Like, yo, those are things. That's real. You know what I'm saying? It don't go nowhere. Ken, all the way down to Ken now. He's about to be stressed out about his girl going through labor.
Right.
And so when you ask me how long it's too long to be in the maze, the maze is forever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So.
But I would say, don't let the stress of the maze mess up the journey.
Right, and that's what I meant. That's
know
what
what
the
I'm
whole
saying?
point
Yeah,
of
no
this
question
was,
asked.
is to
Yeah,
get
don't
back
let the
to
stress
how
of
do
it.
you maintain happiness
Yeah.
through it? Because
Dee
you're
and I
going to
still
go
happy.
through it.
Probably more happy with the MS than we were before.
So
Right.
can we say as long as there's progress? Is that a safe assessment?
Yeah. And let's have some measurement. What
I don't
process
even know
is.
what that means, though.
Well, I'm saying in terms of
Because you can have progress in your marriage and then take a backslide.
Some
You know what I'm
other
saying?
area.
So
Yeah,
and then
but I know what Carl's saying though. Let's say over a long period of time,
some measurement.
Well, this is what I tell my kids when they went to school. Now I don't know why I was this comfortable with school because I guess school's only 4 years. I'm just being real. It's 4 years. I think my fear with relationships, and I had to pull back the other day because I was explaining. I was like, yo, you know what my problem was? And I'm not saying that it's right. It's my only reality. I want you to marry your mom. Like that's my reality. I feel like to me, she's one of the most productive females that I know. Like, yo, this is what she did for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So let me back off because that's not the goal to marry your mom.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
just back off. But I just know how productive I've been with that type of, you know, individual, if you know what I'm saying. So I think I put a lot more pressure on things that I feel that's gonna have a lifetime effect, Ken. Whereas with school, bruh, I was the opposite. Here's what I used to tell my kids when they went to school. Pass the class, get a credit. What's gonna happen is you need 120. I just need you to get credits. So each class you take, I just need a credit because I don't wanna have to pay for that class again. Because I don't know if you're gonna learn a whole bunch more in college by taking it twice. So I just need you to pass. And people will be like, man, you want to tell your kids to graduate magna cum laude? I said, I just said graduate. And when you graduate, get some personal skills that when you leave, you can get a job. Because everybody that graduates doesn't necessarily get a job. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it, Ken, where if the maze is this little quick piece of maze, don't stress yourself out. But I find that, and we're just talking triggers, and as we're talking, it's coming out. I find what my trigger is I think you making a long-term decision that's gonna have a bad effect. That's the stuff that I'm just like really, even with our company, it's like, it's certain things that Carl would do. I won't say nothing to him about him. I don't care. But the stuff that's going to affect payroll, y'all always hear me say, I'm on payroll. If it's gonna affect payroll, that we can't have those kind of problems.
Talking about it.
Yeah, we can't have those kind of problems. Why? Because I can't afford Ken, who's having a baby, to have a lapse in your pay during that time frame. I don't call Will on TGIM. It's what it is. It's free. I don't care nothing about it. Like, not that I don't care. When I go speak, I give 120. But I don't edit it and do all of that. I'm not going to stress you out about that. But when we're doing something that has long-term benefits, I find that that's the trick. And I need to go back and revisit that and say, you ain't got to be stressed out about those either. You know what I'm saying? Like, you make yourself feel like you probably need to be stressed about it. But here's the end of the day. At the end of the day, we all make decisions, and we will be, man, I know people like Quest got a divorce, right? In our community, that's, bruh, that, you talk taboo, like that's a no-no. But now look at the second married Quest is in married bliss, bruh. I'm talking about he in heaven, two more children, the career, he's doing marriage stuff because of what happened. He's doing marriage stuff. So even as I'm listening to Candace listen to this podcast, it's like, yo, don't even stress out about the stuff, the big stuff. You know they say don't sweat the small stuff. Well, perhaps we don't even need to sweat the big stuff either. We don't need to sweat none of the stuff. Just like C said, you realize you in a maze and just try your hardest. Because I am, Carl, I don't care what C say. I ain't trying to be stuck in that one part of that maze. I'm trying to get from one.
Hopefully you're not.
I'm trying to get
but
from
you
one.
know, like I said, life ebbs and flows. And sometimes, you know, you and your wife could be doing great. And 6 months from now, it could be a 2-week period where you can't stand one another. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, I wanna get through this and go on to Ask ET. But I do want to ask each of you a question. When are you at your happiest? Like, what's going on in your life when you're at your happiest?
You should be able to answer that for all four of us in this.
Based
in
off
this
who we
room.
are.
I just want them to hear it from you, straight from the horse's mouth.
Okay, happy wife, happy life. When I was with Dee Dee yesterday, for Dee Dee I don't know what it is for her. I'm not gonna try to make up what it is for her, but for me, it's these 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds sitting on the west side of Detroit on a red porch saying, these are the things that we're gonna do together when we grow up. And to be able to get that couch is it's a maze. It was a maze. It wasn't like you said, see, one porch, red porch couch, boom, house, couch, happy family. It wasn't that. It took some, but to be able to say, I made it, we made it. Exactly what we said we wanted to do, we did it. And that's what I'm most happy. And then secondly, I do have children who are older. So when my son is, I'm saying, you know, in his rhythm, doing his thing, when my daughter's doing what she's passionate about and they happy, that makes me happy too.
And what could make you happier?
Control.
Yeah.
Controlling it all.
I'm just saying, that's it though, Carl, let's be real.
I mean, something realistic that you could be like, yo, if this was right, I'd be.
If I had the power to make Dee Dee that happy 365 days of the year. You know what I'm saying? And we had a conversation this morning. You know, it was just, And let me say this, man. I'm just so grateful. And like I said, y'all know me. I'm messed up. You know, my dad went in my life. I just had some issues, and so those issues, I've been trying to resolve all throughout my marriage. And you know, just being rebaptized early this year, is really dealing with that control. And I woke up today, and Didi and I felt like I'm able to talk to her about stuff that maybe 10 years ago, it was not bad stuff, but it's gonna piss her off.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't even talk about it because y'all can't talk about it without it seeming like y'all at odds. You know, and today I just told her, I was like, yo, look, I'm just being real with you. I just don't like it when you let stuff stress you out that shouldn't stress you out. I just don't like to see you stressed out because I already know you having some challenges here. And so that stress ain't doing nothing but, you know, exacerbating whatever's going on up there. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to see you stressed out about this happening at the church, this happening at the whatever. Like, well, it's not that deep, right? So for me, I had that conversation, and if I wish I had more control or I could help more with her being happy 365 days. And then, like you said, Carl, control. Making sure that the people that, you know, that my kids are with are people who are going to make them happy. Not even do, I think they think sometimes, Dad, you just want to, I don't. I just want you to be in a situation that's a healthy situation for you. And I don't know at all, I don't know at 18 or 19 if you always are thinking about your future. You're so caught up on today that you might not necessarily be thinking about that. But I'm gonna say something, man. Shout out to Willie Moore Jr. Shout out to this community, y'all. Shout out to this family we have. Like, this ain't just about us traveling, speaking. I was sitting down with Willie Moore, and Willie Moore said to me, he gave me a step. See, he said, E, if you want control, what do you do every morning? I said, I pray. He said, you know that. He said, the people that you stressed out about, that your kids are with, have you ever prayed about them? Do you pray for them every day? So that's what I want you to do. Because you know when you doing this, he said, you know when you praying, he said, you know, you relax, you chill, because you know, if one person that I feel like can control everything, and I mean really control it, not I'm on some control freak, so I don't know what to control. Like, I might think I know what I don't know what to control. You let me start touching stuff, I'll probably blow the earth up. But still, Carl, thinking that I'm doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? But when he said that, I was like, yep, I got it. He said, you pray for this part, you find all the girls, he said, call Jada, find out all the kids that she running with. And you wake up every single day and you pray that each person that Jada's in their life, that God will work it out. And I've never thought to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. I never thought that through. And I was like, Willie Mo, thank you so much. That alone, we talking about how therapeutic it is just calling it out in the morning. Not even that, with the possibilities of what can happen when you begin to focus your energy on that. And he says what Willie Mo said. He said, this is what I believe. If they're supposed to be in their lives, they'll stay in their lives. If they're not supposed to be in their lives and you going before your Father, guess what's going to happen? He will remove them from their lives. But all that stressing you doing is not necessary. You pray about it.
I got, oh man, so we just left LA, and I told Tamisha I was joking with her, but I saw her 16, 17-year-old smile again. Like, I saw, we were getting ready to leave the room, and we walked by the like the bathroom was kind of on the way out, and the mirror was right there. And like, I turned and I kind of like just paused in the mirror. She turned and smiled, and I saw, like, similar to what he was saying, I saw her 16 when we were at her mom's house. I saw it again. I was like, ooh, like, that is something that I want to see every single day. So that's one. But the second one, and y'all know me, man, the second one is taking on something and getting it accomplished. Man, at the end of that day, I don't care what it is. Like, if I can get that thing accomplished that looked 6 months ago or a year ago, like, holy crap, I don't know how to do that. Like, I get that thing accomplished that day that we hit play and it's running, or Black Friday, whatever it is. Like, whatever I can put my hands on to take it from, you know, from beginning and see that end, man, I'm telling you, that day I just want to sit down and get me a Cuban. Get me a Cuban. But that gets me pumped.
Yeah.
So I did the first thing, I think, we talked to you and Candace about it when y'all was over. But, I mean, my wife, like, she, we go to our appointments. We went to one of our appointments to get check up on the baby and everything. And she started coughing, and I ran out to the car to get some water and came in and sat down, and she was crying. So I'm like, and she started crying, and she was like, you know, you just do so much. Like, thank you. And she was just bawling. And she's like, you know, you broke the cycle for men in my life. And I'm like, whoa. And, you know, it gets, you know, it can get a lot. Like, you you're getting up doing things and you're doing this because physically, you know, she can't do it herself anymore. And sometimes it can get tiring and exhausting, and you know, and that moment I was like, wow, like, and then I pulled out my camera and started filming her, like, but you know,
Always a documentary. Always a documentary.
You know what I'm saying? You want to show it to her when she
Yeah.
pissed off and say,
Right.
act like every man in my life.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go back to the film, boo.
Right. Take a look at the gameplay.
so you know, and that just, you know, I was like, wow, that really made me happy. So having, you know, just trying to be more consistent in creating that environment for her to feel that way. And then just with what I do, my skill set, my gift, just being more consistent in that, developing it, and just feeling more like me, like walking in that. I think that'll make me even happier, and being more of a husband I'm supposed to be. You know, that's gonna make me happier. So, yeah.
All right, bro. That's your happiness will be fleeting fast. If that last one is true, try to be more of a good husband. That's gonna be for that's a life of work, a lifetime work, bro. And even when you make it, I don't know if she gonna be honest and tell you if you made it or not. How do you measure that, kid?
Let's get it.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just like, yo, it's like all y'all went wives, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, obviously, we're all married, but, you know, that was, you know, what your first go-to. I wonder if we did this, if they did their podcast, they'd be like, just want to see my husband smile.
I'm not sure.
I just want to see my husband, his 17-year-old smile.
Nah,
You know what I'm saying? I want to know if that was they answer.
Diddy might start with the kids.
Oh man, I'm at my happiest. I mean, it's twofold for me. I mean, you know, obviously, family, my wife, but more specifically, when we're on the road doing ETA stuff with the family. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no feeling like it. Like, for real, y'all know. And I don't know, it's the devil. You probably heard me on this podcast, and you've been with us for a while now, so you know it's true. Every time I leave by myself, it's always something. Somebody fall, bang their head.
Bro, please don't go away.
Yeah, I know.
Never.
So
If they
for
can't
me,
come, you
I'm saying,
can't
what's
come
the
to
next
this
one
show.
gonna be?
I know. I'm straight. So having my family on the road, traveling, and doing what we do, being able to pour into people, being able to change lives, things of that nature, there's no feeling like it. Like, it's euphoric. You know, anything else that's wrong in the world, it doesn't matter. You know, we at the hotel, Trey Love jumping on the bed, swimming in the pool, you know, Candace in a good mood, you know, removed from work. We doing what we love to do. We all together, our families, things of that nature. It's no feeling like it. And so I think, you know, the goal for today's podcast, and hopefully, you know, before we jump into Ask ET, y'all understand that, you know, we are not perfect. You know, we all have these things in our lives that are not perfect, that stress us out, that we worry about. But at the end of the day, mental health is important. And I think we operate at a high level because we are genuinely happy and we're pursuing happiness. And that doesn't mean
The pursuit of it.
Yeah.
Not the obtain of it or the embracing of it, but
but we genuinely are. So, you know, I think one of the beautiful things, and I don't need a therapist because you guys are my therapist, you know, we get to talk, you know, all the time. You know what I mean? We have issues that we're going through. But I would just encourage those of you out there, especially the fellas, you know, who you closed everything off. You got issues in your marriage. You got issues, you know, with your, you know, Ken just let out some real stuff. It's not easy for a man to say, yo, I feel inadequate at times. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you're going through those things, talk to somebody, man. If you need a therapist, if you got friends or, you know, loved ones that you trust, make sure you have those conversations, man, because again, you're going to be in the maze of life regardless. You stressing about it ain't about to add nothing to it, you know, and so you might as well try to enjoy life as much as possible. And so let's jump into Ask ET. Oh man, let me see. We got,
Hey, can I say this though real quick?
Yeah.
See, hey, do me a favor for those of you listening to the podcast. If you have a spouse, if you can sit down after us with your spouse and let's some of the questions that you heard or some of the things that you heard on the show. I think this is, especially as we're going into the holiday season, I'd hate for it to be drama or, you know, Ken, how sometimes you go into the holiday season with unresolved issues and it kind of takes away from the fun of the season. So spend some time. If you have children, you know, I mentioned my relationship with my kid, you know, talk to your kids about it, you know, but whatever you do, don't let this just be a listening kind of podcast. Like, make this a working podcast.
What's the term they use? Mental wealth.
mental wealth.
Yeah, let's
mental
change that.
wealth.
Yeah, mental wealth.
And if you want mental, and physical health and wealth.
There it is.
Check out our sponsor, Organifi.
Organifi.
Shout out to Organifi, man. You guys have heard us. What are you waiting on? What's your fear with Organifi? Okay, you got some fears going on, and you scared to try Organifi? Why would you be scared to better your life, take your energy to the next level? I just thought about it. I'm not trying to be funny. I've been on Organifi for a while now, doing it 2-3 times a day. I ran out. I didn't have enough over the when I was in Chicago. I ran out. I had a couple left, and so I just started hitting one a day. But man, I'm being for real. Been on it every day. Yeah. I haven't had a common cold, a sniffle, anything. And I'm not saying it's because of that.
No.
Right.
I'm saying it ain't hurt. Because I've been, I've been rocking and rolling, man. Like I said, feeling great. And I don't know what it is. Something about the placebo effect of
it's real.
Feeling healthy.
It's real.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I'm
saying it got me feeling better, and it got me to the point where I've been gone. I've been almost away from home for 3 weeks. I promise you, and I ain't gained 1 pound. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. And I ain't lost nothing. But I have not
get some more Organifi.
No, I haven't gained a pound, and I say that because
get some more Organifi.
but I feel like when you're doing things that are healthy for you, and Organifi is healthy for you, you're not about to just hit the Organifi and then hit a peanut butter cake the next or Coke, right? Exactly.
That's real.
Yeah, so it kind of it's a mini accountability partner, man, and I want you guys to try it. Look, the New Year's coming. Somebody in your family who you love. Yeah. You know, somebody who, yourself, a loved one, your husband, your wife, somebody, trying to get healthy, get those greens. Listen, man, they are the best company for that. Again, I can't smoothie every day. I know E has a personal smoothie maker. I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Smoothie maker.
He got a personal.
The pursuit of happiness. See?
He's got a personal juicer.
If you would have asked two more
I'm just saying he does.
I
don't have
what
that.
makes me most happy.
Is
my personal juice.
And your personal vegan chef. We know. You and Oprah now can be healthy for the rest of your lives, while the rest of us eat McDonald's. Yeah. But no, if you don't have a personal juicer. You're not gonna do it. You're just not gonna do it every day. Yeah. You're just not gonna do it every day. You can start out, you might go for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but you're gonna fade off. I'm telling you, with Organifi, you get the little packets, you pour it right in your water bottle, shake it up, go 2-3 times a day, and you'll be feeling more. Shout out to Organifi. Use our promo code SUCCESS. Hey, don't forget to use the promo code. Somebody hit me up the other day, like, I got the Organifi, did you use the promo code? No, I forgot. I said, man, go back, put the promo code in. You guys rock with us, man. You always hit us up. How can we help y'all, man? If you rock with the products, put the promo code in.
I got beef. That's why you're Organifi, because they consistent. I got beef with my smoothie maker. He ain't made me no smoothie about it.
I just saw him walk in.
He didn't bring no juice when he came.
No, he didn't bring the juice. So maybe he thought you were still in Chicago.
Or maybe he thought I strictly use Organifi.
Okay, no.
Maybe he got jealous.
Yeah, he probably may have.
Talk. That's probably what it was.
Organifi.com, guys. ORGANIFI.com. Organifi.com. Put in the promo code SUCCESS and get 20% off your order. So that's a good look. And then write in, man. Let us know how you like it. Let us know how you're feeling. First question. Let's go. I had it pulled up. Here it is. What's going on, CJ, Carl, and ET? Here's my question. ET, I understand school isn't for everybody, and it took you 12 years to get a 4-year degree. I wonder where
what does that have to do with it?
Where did he hear that?
What does that have to do with school and how long it took me? I'm not understanding the connection.
Well, I think he's just trying to make the connection between your length of time and whatever his next part of the question is. So, ready? What are your thoughts on formal education? You know what I'm saying? Because clearly you don't give a damn.
Apparently I do, because I went to 12 and got it. If I didn't care, I would have just let it go.
However, what are your thoughts on formal education? There's a saying that formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. And also, although it took you much longer time to get a degree, my man just rubbing it in.
I mean, unbelievable.
I'm just reading.
Can you get his address from the email? I need to talk to him personally.
And finally, what kept you pushing through, even though the odds were clearly against you? My man, hey, shout out to Obi Igwe from Boston, Massachusetts.
I'm going to Boston. Make sure we have our next day ready.
Obi.
In Boston, I want to meet my man. So what's the real question, see? I don't know. I'm still focused on how
why did it take you 12 years to get a degree?
Is that the
how in the
question?
world did it take you 12 years?
And how important is it
to get a degree that took 4 years?
Mercy.
You had 3 years per year.
I was red shirt. I was a red shirt academic student.
So I guess he said, what what are your thoughts on formal education?
Yeah.
And why did you keep pushing even though the odds were stacked against you? And I tell everybody, formal education, going to college, if you don't know what you want to do, go to college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Flat out. That's my thing for kids. I know everybody can be an app billionaire and you don't need college no more. I met E in college. I met Carl in college. We met Ken in college.
Yeah.
This entire company was formed off of relationships that we made in college. So unless you just some savant guru and you understand the world in a way that nobody else does, and you got everything figured out, and you're gonna make $100 million off your app.
Let's call a couple other
Cool,
names.
but-
I think Zuckerberg met his people and started Facebook in college. He
Yeah,
finished, but started
But he
there.
went to college, though.
That's what I'm saying.
He
Like,
went to
we can go
college.
down the list.
Yeah,
like,
so
there's
people act
something
like
there.
it's the classwork that gets you
Right.
to the next
Yeah.
level. I'm gonna be real. Classwork, I'm not sure how much it helped me. Just 1,000% honest. But the relationships that you form, the maturity
And the
you
discipline,
get.
the process. Like you do learn. Here's my thing, guys. Here's the other part that I don't hear enough. If you've learned the language of school without going to school, praise be to you. I just didn't. My people were middle class workers, so I didn't learn the language. Like literally worked in, you know what I'm saying, people in my neighborhood was the plant. So most of the people in my neighborhood work at the plant. I didn't get the language that I need to be a consultant. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not making it like school made me who I am, but I am saying it played a significant part.
The other piece I'll add real quick is I went back to school to learn how to do video for TGIM. That's why I went back to school. And not that I couldn't learn video on my own. You can learn anything from Google now, but the environment forces you.
Right.
Like, literally, you
Most
around
people don't have that self-discipline.
Right,
You don't sit at home and
you hear,
watch
like you just
tutorials.
said, yeah, the language you hearing all day long. You know what I'm saying? The people you're around, you just walking through the lab, and there's kids. And I went in as a grad student with undergrad, so I ain't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? But here I got these little 20-year-old kids telling me I'm probably about 26 by this time. I got 20-year-old kids that's killing the game. So it just put me in the environment where I was forced to learn it and stay in it and learn it faster. Like I can just, like C said, pick it up Tuesday, do an hour here, and then I'll look back at it for another 2 weeks. So the environment helps you to learn stuff faster too, man.
I don't know if I want to read this next one, but I'm going to.
Just like Ken
I'm not
answer.
sure how I feel about this. This is
Is it another length? How long it took me to do something?
no, thank God.
Okay, right.
This is weird. All right, cool. I'm gonna read it anyway, just as it is. But I'm not gonna. And it's not weird. It's a great question, but I feel bad for my man. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So
that's why it was marriage
call his
question.
name.
yeah. So I'm not
He
gonna.
said
Call, I'm
my
not
man.
calling no names for sure. Hi guys, I'm a woman that loves your podcast and all that you do. Thank you. Here's my question. I'm blown away that there are strong, amazing, tender-focused, funny, inspiring men like you. Let me read that sentence again in case my wife's listening.
Go get Didi and
blown
read it to
away.
Didi.
That there are strong, amazing, tender-focused, funny, inspiring men like you.
You read that too fast. Give me all the adjectives.
Yeah, I want all of that.
Yeah, I want all of them.
Should I hit the Kenny G again? Read it with the
Read that slow. It's ministering to me. Yeah.
I'm blown away that there are strong, amazing, tender, focused, funny, inspiring men like you. You've shaken up my world because your examples have exposed what my man lacks. Ouch. But I so dearly want in a husband. When I say it's shaking me up, I mean my whole mindset is thrown off. Have you ever experienced rapid growth in areas of your life that have left you feeling very sad and longing when a spouse chooses to remain stagnant in life? Should I stay in my lane and accept him as he is? We've been married 21 years. Thanks so much.
That's the part that scared me. But it's what I said earlier.
First of all, we just acknowledge that my ego feels good and I feel bad at the same time. This is what we talked about. Confidence and, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm feeling terrible for my man because he was going by good and she started listening to the podcast like, whoa, they doing what? My man on the couch eating the egg sandwich looking crazy.
please don't say that because I eat egg sandwiches.
You did have an egg sandwich last night too.
Yeah, so don't say that. Don't make my man feel like he did.
I'm just saying he was.
If he made it himself, he's
I'm
all
saying
right.
what
But
she's
she
saying
made it.
though is.
No, I feel
It sounds like we raised the bar, which is what we try to do with this podcast. Make no
absolutely.
mistake about it. Every man who's listening, and I only say that because Carl and I and Ken, we get our example from E, and E raised the bar. And trust me, there were times where I came to E like, yo, you sure we doing this thing right? Because I'm not sure I'm with you, you know, and so I am glad to see that we were raising the level of consciousness in all seriousness. That's what this podcast is about. And we're not perfect people, but we strive to be the best in every single area. And so I'm glad that you've seen that, you've acknowledged it. I say maybe start letting him listen to the podcast. Maybe not this one. Cut this one off before it get here. But maybe you suggest that he start listening to the podcast, or he start listening to E on a regular basis. Pick up the albums, the mixtapes, things like that, the sermons. Like, yo, E gives nuggets, and E is able to move men more so than any other man that I've ever seen. As men, we're very prideful. I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to listen to, you know. And E has a way of breaking down those barriers and being able to get through to him. So I don't know if he's listening to E now. If he's not, which it sounds like he's not, if he's not trying to go to that next level with you, then maybe you can, you know, introduce him to the movement, introduce him to the fold. But E, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to say to her, you know, be cautious. So it would be easy for me to say in some area, you know, when I was, you know, younger, that Didi wasn't on my level. But there have been areas where I wasn't on Didi's level.
Right.
So when you talk about school, I was never on Didi's level in school. I was never on Didi's level in terms of maturity, like financial maturity and things of that nature, credit scores, all that kind of stuff, savings. I was never on Didi's level. I might have, but Didi might not have been on my level on a spiritual boy. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't about he what is he doing? He may be stronger than you in some other areas. But I think what happens is when we're strong in an area and we long something, we overlook where the other people are strong. And that could get you in trouble.
Yeah.
That could mess up your marriage now because you are falsely comparing.
Yeah.
So it might be an area where my man a giant. He might not be tender and all the other stuff that you mentioned. See, I forgot it that quick. You know, but I will say this to her: when Didi stayed strong with the financial boy and continued to share with me the vision financially. Now, if you ask Didi today, my credit score is equal to or greater. I'm doing well in terms of finance. You know, financially, I'm way better than what I used to be. And so Didi kind of got me up in that area.
And you're doing the laundry.
You feel me? And Didi was definitely pissed off about the laundry and I'm still not getting no, I might get a bronze. I'm still not getting no gold medal at the crib for laundry. You know what I'm saying? She's like, wash your own stuff and wash mine. You know what I'm saying? But I will say that I'm better in certain areas because she decided to stick with me and be patient. Yeah. But it didn't mean she let me stay where I was without challenging.
21 years though.
And we 27.
It's like you're 12 to get a foe. She's 21 to get a man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Where she want him to be. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. So I'm saying be patient with him. Love on my man for what he is doing. Like, for real, you can start looking at that one area. See, you
we just talked about it.
And not like that one area and overlook all. I hope he ain't eating egg sandwiches on the couch.
Well, here go the thing too. You might want to check with our wives because we might have gassed it up a little bit too much. Because you only getting this side of the story.
If Didi came on the podcast right now,
you might be like, okay, I love it. My man doing all right.
She might feel like her man is the man of the year. The man of the year. Yeah, so don't let the podcast. CJ making us look good out here.
Well, hey, I try. Well, like I said, if my wife want to say something, she's more than free to start her own podcast. Her Didi to me, we let them get a little podcast. You know, y'all do your thing. And
that sucker probably way sweet.
It probably would. It probably would. Again, though, it's what we said with Ken. We ain't scared to make no mistakes. We were just dumb enough to put it out. You know what I'm saying? With all they deepness, they ain't got one yet. You know what I'm saying?
No, I haven't been married 20 years, but he said something about sharing the vision, and I don't know if she's listening, if you've shared the vision of you know maybe where you want to be, and I don't know if it's in your head, and she's just sitting around with that in her head, and she hasn't communicated that vision. You know, maybe like again, I haven't been married 21 years. Yeah. But sharing that vision, this is where you see you guys together. This is where you saw us. We should have been here at this point, and we're not. And what does that look like? And kind of communicating that to the guys. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. So yeah, no. Hopefully that helps out. And yeah, that's Ask ET. We'll move on because we're running short on time, and I gotta go. Shout out to the Phenomenal Life Cruise. We are going cruising.
That's when I'm gonna be my happiest.
Oh yeah,
right there.
nah.
You better be. We're gonna be there for 7 days. I don't want no letdowns, y'all.
Nothing.
We all gotta stay high the whole time.
All 7 days. Yep, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to do the podcast on that joint too, man. We're gonna do the podcast on
live
the boat.
Ones too.
That's good. Yeah, live podcast. That's gonna be fun.
We're gonna have security because Tamisha, Didi, and Candace will be there. Can we stop them from coming on stage?
Oh, for sure.
We gotta have security. I thought you were talking about some other kind of stuff. What are you talking about? Nah, that's security.
We might do a podcast with all of them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a
I can't do
podcast
it
with
with
all of them.
I can't do
I'm
no
gonna be on
podcast
my best
with Didi.
behavior for the
But
next
make sure it's the
3 months.
last day of the cruise, not
You
the
know,
first
Didi
day.
don't have no governor on her mouth. She don't have no governor, bruh.
Oh,
Didi
yeah, we
she
found that
already
out.
told me, like, look, you don't want me to get on because you know me. And then she tried to make an excuse. She's like, I got MS, so sometimes I just, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, is it MS?
I just say
though?
whatever.
I just say whatever.
Whatever I really feel.
Whatever I really feel.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
You feel me?
Yeah, and also, man, I don't know if we've announced this yet. We have another date. It's not a Stay Ready, but we're doing
Take control.
a Take Control / Take Ownership collaboration
Yeah.
with my man Gerard Adams, December 9th and 10th. All right, it's December 9th and 10th. We'll be doing that with Founders.
Yep.
Yep, and Gerard, man, super successful. Gerard Adams, you can follow him on Instagram and see what he's doing, but super successful entrepreneur, big time in the tech space, and just, great speaker. Great dude, man, and we're going to be partnering with him out in Newark. I'm going to be speaking. Josh E, of course, is going to light it up on both days, but that is December 9th and 10th in Newark, New Jersey. All right, so if you're on that East Coast and you're ready to go to that next level, make sure you hit the website. Is it on our website
It's
now?
on our website. They can just go to the events page and you'll see it.
So etinspires.com/events and go on there and get the tickets, and we'll see you on the East Coast very soon, man. It's going to be a 2-day, longer days, 2-day event. It's going to be incredible, man. You need to get out for sure. You're looking to take that business to the next level as an entrepreneur, increase those profits, take your visibility to another level, take your branding to the next level, whatever you want to do. December 9th and 10th, we'll be on the East Coast making it happen. Carl, am I missing anything? Other announcements?
We good. That's it.
All right.
Look
yeah.
out for
Hey,
U-turn.
no. Let me say this. No. Let me say this. Yeah, we U-turn.
Look out for U-turn, y'all. We dropping
U-turn
the
series
premiere.
coming up
Yep.
soon. Breathe University. Man, I want to seriously. I should have done this to start the podcast. I want to thank each and every person in the BU family, man. We had flowers at the funeral from BU people, game changers, like the community, man. My wife and I we felt just an overwhelming wave of love and support. Facebook messages to my wife and, just from all over, man. And the Breathe University, that's what this community is so dope, man. They just loved on us, man, and we could literally feel the support and love from everybody. So thank
I
you to
wish
every
I could tell you
single.
all the messages. I'm sorry to cut you off. I
Yeah.
wish I could tell you all the messages that I got in LA. I can't begin
Wow.
to tell you.
Yeah.
It's like literally
Nah.
at least 40, 50 people was like, yo, make sure you send CJ and Candace my
Yeah,
condolences, all
no,
that.
I felt it, man. I felt it. And actually, they FaceTimed me during the conference from stage. And just an awesome feeling, man. I saw the people in the crowd, and so it was definitely, sad I couldn't make it to LA, but we were taking care of business, man, and just incredible, the amount of support the Breathe University family gave. We'd love to have you guys in Breathe University. Oh, as always, check us out, man. We got some crazy stuff coming up for Black Friday, Carl, right? We got
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's going to be exciting. So, thank you guys a million for all the love and support. So so that we can get to the rest of our day. Oh, shout out to Ken, man, for coming
Hey.
through. That was unexpected. I didn't even know
Ken.
Ken was going to be
Thanks.
here, but
Thanks for
thanks
having
for
me on.
joining us on the podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
nah, come on, now you pushing it.
I just try to open up the
But hey, I just want to acknowledge growth, though.
Absolutely.
There was a time when I never could have pictured Carl on the podcast with us.
We got me and
Now
Ken.
you
And
got
not Ken.
Now you got
Yeah.
Hey, next
Caribbean
year
brothers.
we can go open up our show.
Right, the keynote.
Victoria.
Yeah.
Notorious. They are.
So yeah, E, give us a nugget that we can hold on to for the rest of the week, bro.
God, you hear me say it all the time, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Look, there are some things that we are just blessed with, guys. Let's just be honest. There's some things when you just wake up that you just blessed with. For me, I'm blessed to be in Michigan. It's the green grass. It's in the fall. You don't have to do anything, but it's these beautiful brown, yellow, green, orange. It's just some stuff when you're in the Midwest, you're in New York, wherever you are, California, it's the hills, the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. Just some stuff, literally. You don't have to do anything, guys, and they just hand it to you on a silver platter. Like you wake up in Michigan in spring, you hear the birds chirping. It is what it is, right? But there are some things, guys, if you're going to get it, you're going to have to pursue it. And CJ talked it today. Happiness, they not just passing that out. You know what I'm saying? You just don't wake up and people knock on your door and say, Ken, here you go, sir. We have a 12-pack of happiness for you today. We got a month's supply, 30 days of happiness. But I'm telling you, if you're willing to put the work in it, you can have your happiness. If you're willing to grind. Now, I always say this, right? And I know, some of you like E.T. come on here, you say that all the time. Look, we all go through pain, whether you're happy or sad. We all go through disappointments, whether you're happy or sad. My thing is, if you got to go through all of this, see this maze you talked about, you might as well get a reward for it. If you got to go through all this stuff anyway, at the end of the tunnel, you ought to see happiness. So it's your boy E.T. saying this, believe it or not, one day I woke up, guys, and I realized that I had to go get it. And you do not need to be afraid. What you should be afraid of is not pursuing it. Don't be afraid that if you pursue it, it's not going to happen. You should be afraid that if it does not happen for you, it's because you didn't get up and make it happen. So I believe in you. Like literally, I believe you have what it takes. If you can dream of that happiness, you can go out and pursue it. And one day you can wake up and it can be yours. And I'm talking from a group of guys that started in a small office in East Lansing that are sitting on 16 acres of land right now in our own office. We have to choose which space we're gonna do this podcast in. We went from being in the basement to selling books ourselves to UPS is dropping our stuff off now. And you're listening to our podcast today from a minuscule office to the world listening to us today. So we're not talking about what we read or what we heard. We're telling you to get up, pursue it, and make the rest of your life the best of your life.
Appreciate that nugget of the day. E, go on iTunes, man. Leave us a review if you rock with us. We love you. We'll see you next week.
I want you to focus on here right now. Don't you worry about when you get home. You concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity with all your might, with all your soul, with all